everyone, and welcome to News and Views for February the 15th, 2024. We are heading into the Louis Riel Day holiday this weekend. Lots of stuff going on around the region. I'm here in Neepawa. The celebration's a little different this year. They are having it on the Sunday rather than the Monday, starting mid-afternoon, going into the evening, ending with a fireworks display at 8 after dark. So that is new for this year, so everyone should go and check that one out. It is down at the flats as usual, just a different day. Also, there are events on the Monday going on in Minnedosa, as well as up at McCreary. And this weekend out in Minnedosa is Rock the Lake and Skate the Lake, with lots of hockey and curling going on the lake this weekend. Another event to check out if you're out and about. And also on the station on Friday, if you're unable to be there in person, we are showing the Neepawa Tigers hockey game live on Friday evening starting at 7:30. So check that out as well if you're able. We're really happy to be able to get out to do some of these live games from time to time, though we would love to do more, and in order to do more, we need more volunteers. So if sports is something that you're interested in, if you're wanting to get on one of our broadcast teams to do something like hockey or football or curling or soccer, whatever you're into, please get in touch with us and we can make that happen. So on the show for today, we start out at the Rural Manitoba Workforce Summit that happened just this week. Sort of an endeavor to get people into the workforce working with their actual skills. So this, we have a clip from an interview with a representative, but there is a full interview as well, before and after the summit, talking about how it went, and you can see that elsewhere in our broadcast schedule. So today, just a clip on the show here, the full thing elsewhere in the schedule. We also have a bit of a construction update. There's, of course, always lots going on around town. It's been a while since we've done a little scoot around to see how things are going. So we have some footage from the hospital, from the Harris Pharmacy build, and from the hotel, and also the It's Time has now become the Mill. We have some pictures of that signage changing, and that new store will be opening this week. And another one we don't have footage of, but is a new transition that's just been announced, is that Roeder's Bakery and Pizzeria will be closing as of today to move into their new location in the old Home Hardware building right here near our building, which is wonderful. So keep an eye out for their reopening date for that. And also on the show today, we have Titans versus Virden hockey highlights. Another great game here at the Yellowhead Center. If you haven't been to a Titans game recently, you really should check one of them out. The team are doing wonderful things this year. So yeah, that is our highlights. If you have anything that is not on the show that is coming up that you have footage of you'd like to send to us, you can reach us at 204-476-2639 or by email nactv@wcgwave.ca. Thanks and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Coffee Chat. We have somewhat of a segmented program today, an interview to start with, and after an event that's taking place in Neepawa here today, February the 12th. My guest today is Enver Naidoo. He's the CEO of the Westman Immigrant Services, similar to what Don Walmsley is here in Neepawa. So welcome, Enver. Nice to have you here today.
Thank you, Dave. Great to be here.
Yes. Well, first of all, Enver, maybe tell us a little bit about your background. I know you're an immigrant yourself that came to Canada, and you've been around the world a lot, you were telling me. So just, a short capsule of your background, please.
Absolutely. So, as I mentioned, I am an immigrant as well as a newcomer to Manitoba. Like many immigrants, looking for better quality of life. We come from all different walks and backgrounds. Myself personally, I originally am from South Africa.
South Africa.
South Africa, and I left shortly after apartheid ended. Since then, I've lived and worked in 4 countries, 3 continents, and 4 provinces across Canada. And that that experience has given me exposure to working in different companies, working in different organizations, both non-profit and for-profit, and also working with Canadians and immigrants alike and just seeing opportunities for companies to benefit from that diverse background of that the immigrants bring, and also for opportunities for immigrants to restart their life in Canada or in Manitoba. It's a great fit for everyone.
That's great. Well, you've walked the walk yourself, so you certainly understand the immigration process and the feelings of immigrants when they come and the needs that they have and so on. So you're just, to me, you've just got all the qualifications to be in the job that you are doing. Now you've been there in Brandon for 2 or 3 years, have you? Or
it's coming close to 3 years.
3 years.
Dave, yeah.
Okay, so you've met some of the other immigration people in the province, and I understand you've got together to form a council. Let's see if I've got this right. Rural Manitoba Immigrant Employment Council. So maybe tell me what that is, how it got going, what its mandate is, and talk a little bit about the council.
Absolutely. So we know that there's some great resources and supports available to assist immigrants when they settle or resettle in communities. There's Don Walmsley that runs an incredible organization here in Neepawa. And for myself, I as a CEO of Western Immigrant Services, we run a similar programs and services for immigrants in Brandon, Russell, Virden, and Cartwright. But what we've seen a gap is supports for employers. And, right. And so, when you think about large-scale employers or small to medium enterprise employers, are there resources available for them to be able to understand how to better attract, hire, and retain immigrant talent? And we started looking nationally and recognizing that there have been, in the immigration landscape, more maturity in other communities or other provinces. And we came across immigrant employment councils that have existed, prior to us starting the Rural Manitoba Immigrant Employment Council. These existed in all other provinces except for Manitoba and Saskatchewan.
Really? Well, we were behind.
There was an opportunity here.
Yes.
And so we connected with the National Immigrant Employment Council network, and they were funded through Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada to really think about bringing together these best practices and this opportunity to share and learn, and really also adapt to local realities. And in 2022, we started the Rural Manitoba Immigrant Employment Council, specifically with the perspective of creating this neutral vehicle to support all rural Manitoba communities. And that's how we started. In 2023, we had our first Rural Manitoba Immigrant Employment Council Workforce Development Summit, and we had representation from all regions across the province. And really thinking about connecting with employers and communities to be able to support workforce development, but also to support retention as well, which is really key in rural communities.
Definitely. Well, there's 2 sides to every story, or 3 sides. I always used to tell my students there's yours, mine, and the truth. But here, there's the 2 sides. There's the immigrant population itself, and of course then the employment sector. And if they're not encouraged and on board and supported, then it doesn't. All good intentions still may not lead to a good job placement. So that's great that you're doing that. So how wide is this Rural Manitoba council that you have? How many bodies are involved in it now, and maybe you want to enlarge it as well, do you?
Yeah, so Rural Manitoba Immigrant Employment Council, or RMIC for short.
Yes.
We started an advisory committee, and we have Don Walmsley that is included as part of that committee. We also have representation from other communities as well. And we also have from the national network representation on that advisory committee. And so, this provides us the opportunity to pull in from some of those best practices that have taken place across Canada, and also bringing tools and resources that already exist so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. By having local representation as well, we can also adapt to local needs. But, whether organizations are part of the advisory committee or not, with some of the ways we communicate and work with partners in different communities, we really want to make sure that the voices of all rural communities are heard. And the summits that we have, underway. That's a reflection of working with local stakeholders, local partners, to make sure that local voices are heard, and as we start thinking about supporting rural Manitoba.
Right. So how many immigrant services offices are there in rural Manitoba? Is it mostly in the south, or is there many up in the northern part of Manitoba?
So we have a settlement office in Thompson, as far north as Thompson, and they're part of the advisory committee as well.
Good.
And there's quite a breadth of settlement and integration services across rural Manitoba. But the thing, Dave, as I mentioned, is that the focus is on helping immigrants, or also known as the job seekers.
Yes.
And so it's really important that we do work with them. But there's other stakeholders as well that's part of that ecosystem. So that include post-secondary institutions. That could include the communities themselves, like municipalities. It could include chambers of commerce. It could include trade associations. And so that's where the Rural Manitoba Immigrant Employment Council steps in, is thinking about a way to connect all of these players or actors within this ecosystem, so that we can work in a coordinated fashion.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, you really need a coordination, because there's a lot of entities that are involved in this operation, that's for sure. You mentioned you had a summit in the summer of 23. That was the first one, I'm assuming.
That's correct.
Is this the second one?
So that first summit, as I mentioned, we had representation from all regions across the province, and employers and community stakeholders at large. But what we realized is that it's really important to provide an opportunity for individual communities to be able to share what their unique realities are and what some of those opportunities are. And so as a follow-up to that summit, with incredible support, we're now able to go into different communities and sit down with employers and sit down with community stakeholders, and really figure out the best way to support those local communities, but also think about where are there some similarities, where are there some opportunities that that could be supported from a regional perspective and also from a rural Manitoba perspective.
So, okay, so we have this summit going to take place in Neepawa 10 o'clock this morning, 10 to 2, I understand it is. What's your agenda for today? I suspect an opportunity for employers to ask questions, and you have speakers, do you, or what will happen?
So the summits, today we're going to be in Neepawa, but we actually, during the month of February and into early March, we're going to be in 13 different physical locations across rural Manitoba.
Oh, wow.
From Neepawa to Thompson to Interlake to Portage to Brandon, Steinbach, and the list goes on. So 13 physical locations, but certainly inviting communities that might be close by. So we anticipate about 23 different communities' voices are going to be heard through these summits, and the format it's about sharing tools and resources and strategies to support employers with their ability to attract, hire, and retain immigrant talent, especially with today's labor market shortages. This is obviously a priority and top of mind. And then the other aspect as well is we want to hear from employers. What may work for one employer or one industry may not necessarily work for all. And when we look at the projections of workforce shortages in certain industries, not only are there shortages now, but there's projected shortages over time to come. And so it's really important that we start figuring out what some of those realities are that local employers are facing, so that we can work with all of those different actors within those ecosystem and think about sharing some of that perspective so that we can all adapt to better support employers. The other aspect of the summits is that we are going to have community stakeholders. So, again, this could be municipalities, this could be chambers of commerce, this could be settlement and integration services as well. This could be agencies that provide supports to job seekers. And so by bringing them all to the table, we're able to start unpacking better supports for retention within communities. Also thinking about, how do we support potentially entrepreneurship within communities, right?
That's another area, of course, isn't it?
That's right, because immigrants are considered, a potential opportunity to develop new businesses or even buy businesses when it comes to succession planning, and so starting to think about how do we develop pathways that can support that.
Well, we've certainly seen that entrepreneurship here in Neepawa. Well, you're a wealth of information, Enver, and you're the guy to lead this, I'm sure. It sounds like you've really got it nailed down, and good luck today, and best wishes for a successful summit here in Neepawa. So guest on Coffee Chat has been Enver Naidoo, the CEO of the Immigrant Services in the Westman area. So thank you for coming in again, Enver. I know you're probably the keynote speaker, and you got like 10 minutes to get over there to get started. So good luck to you, and thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Huge game for the Titans, obviously. #1 team in the Western Conference. We have had kind of their number this year, but Larkins tied up in the corner. Back towards the point, controlled by Virden. Shot through traffic! Oh, what a great job by Cookett. Balick gets it deep into the Neepawa zone. Poirier tried to play it up. He'll get the loose puck sideboards. Now cross ice into the offensive zone. Neepawa. High slot area shot. Hey, score! The drop pass into the high slot area. I think it might be Ty Connick. And a great start for the Titans. Larkins, that's broken up. Virden back in. Chipped off the sideboards. Virden in. Oh, a shot! Loose puck! Oh, just kicked out of harm's way by Cookett. Now Neepawa stalks in his own zone through the middle. Up to Gwynison down low, centering pass. Hey, how did that go in? Well, you know what? The age-old adage, you don't shoot the puck, it's not going to go in the net. Well, you know what? There's one where I believe it's Guinnison. Shoots the puck. How it went in, I have no idea. Neepawa with the power play. From the point, Guinnison plays it down low. Centering pass, cross ice. Oh! Was that Guinnison again? My goodness. Stocks?
Yeah.
Yes, he's leading the way, so I gotta assume that was a tip. Wow. Shot, sharp angle, Cook it, good save. Virden, good effort to get into the offensive zone. Played back by Miller. Now played around the end boards. Poirier with Veach in the corner. Poirier ties it up, bouncing puck, loose, not again. Cook it, great pad save. Another rebound, shot, and Cook it. Miller had a really good opportunity. Cook it in the zone. Now back to Stocks, left side. He'll little spinorama move. Stocks, high slot area, left side. Guinnison, down low. Centering pass, goes right on through. Back to the point. Stocks, quickly. Guinnison, good movement by the Titans now. Hartley in the corner. Back to the point. Stocks, shot through traffic. Oh, a nice tip and a great save by Bechtold as the Capitals get it up ice. Off the draw, 25 seconds remaining in this period. Virden out front, turning, shot, oh, and again, Cook it, closes the door in the corner. Kasperick all tied up. Bazin gets it back towards the point, controlled. Shot down low along the end boards. Miller gives it back. David Balick, high slot area, cross ice shot, oh, what a save by Cook it, but then the puck right on the goal line, shoveled in by, I think it's Miller. So with 1.3 seconds remaining in this opening period, the Capitals get on the scoreboard. Off the draw, back to the point, kept in by Neepawa. Shot, oh, and then rebound! Oh, they can't find it. Thompson with a golden opportunity. Hunt gives it off, now cross ice, David Balick. Shedding shot, scored on the one-timer. David Balick on a great setup. Shades of an AHL type play where you know where it's going, but try and stop it. And David Balick with the one-timer. Loose puck, Virden collects it back towards the point. Guthrie, shot towards the front of the net, but a loose puck picked up by Neepawa. Quickly up ice with speed, Stocks. Puts on the brakes, centering pass towards the net. Bechtold bobbled it initially, but then hung on around the end boards. Chip it up and out. Hartley back to find it. He'll go back into his own zone. Poirier played into the middle. Hartley in. Hartley backhand penalty coming up to the Capitals on a real good counter punch by the Neepawa Titans. Guinnison in the corner. Back to the left point. Cross ice. Hartley out front. Oh! And McLeod had a golden opportunity. Put it behind the goaltender, but it went right through the crease. Shot off of a skate. Picked up by Alexander. Cross ice. Shot wide of the net. Big rebound. Another shot. That's deflected wide. Neepawa, Kasperick gives it off. Benson shot. Oh, I think that was off the crossbar. Back to the point. Alexander, cross ice. Benson again. Cross ice shot. Oh, the one-timer does not make it through from Poirier. Now chipped up and out. Stocks plays it cross ice out front, and a rebound. They can't find it. Weisgarber gets it back. Another shot. Rebound still there. Loose towards the end boards. David Balick tied up. Goalie stick along the end boards. Neepawa trying to dig it out. Played around the boards, back to the point. Cross ice. Benson, shot, bouncing, puck goes right through the crease area. Virden unable to get in cleanly. Baird up the left side. Played through the middle. Into the offensive zone. Haggerty in. Backhand. Oh, and a great save by Bechtold. Unable to get the one-timer away. And Virden. Now we're back to 5-on-5. Centering pass goes up and over the net. Winnison can't pick it up cleanly. Virden back towards the point, kept in, putting on the brakes. Slobodian, loose puck, they score! Groening finds that loose puck, 5-on-5, and we're all tied up. Off the draw, puck controlled by the Capitals. Slobodian off net, out front, and Lane, 7 seconds into the man advantage, takes advantage, and the first lead of the hockey game for the Virden Oil Capitals on the power play. 3 power play goals. McLeod gains the red line. He'll dump it deep into the Virden zone. Back to collect it. Wallace around the sideboards, but Neepawa. Shot through traffic. They score! Knocks through traffic. There's a breath of life for the Titans. Buckdold behind his net, settles it down, plays it into the corner. Neepawa on the forecheck. Now that's played out. Neutral ice, quickly up ice. Shot, and again, Cook it. Naidoo with a great burst of speed, great shot, and Casey Cook it at the top of his crease area in great position to make that save. And we're going to overtime. Poirier settles it down behind his own net. Hartley out there with Alexander. Hartley up the left side into the offensive zone. That doesn't materialize. Cut off. Back comes Virden. Through neutral ice into the Neepawa zone. Shot. That's off of a shin pad. Down to the end boards. Centering pass. Shot. That's off of a... And now Alexander's got a breakaway. Alexander in. All alone. On net. Scores! Colton Alexander. Wow! Talk about making a crowd happy. I don't think I've seen this kind of reaction from the Neepawa crowd in a long time. We've won some overtime games, but this was enormous as far as getting points at this stage of the season.